Okay guys, please ignore the mess of my desk. I've been having a bit of an issue trying to get things up for you guys today. So the first thing we're going to do is discuss our options. So obviously if you were in class, I provided you with a little cup like this of ink. But if you don't have stuff with you, or if you're at home and you would like to try doing something like this, you could do food coloring. This is just plain regular food coloring that you get in the kitchen. Or you could even dilute a fruit drink or something like that. Anything that has coloring in it, even a strong coffee or a tea, can still be used to create pictures using the techniques I'm going to show you today. So let's say you're using food coloring. I'm going to go ahead and start by adding a couple extra, 1 drop, 2 drops, 1, 2, 3 drops, 1, 2, 3, 4 drops, and then 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that's how you see how it slowly increases, starting here and going over here. Now, the more concentrated and more direct to the color that you're using, the darker the color is going to get. So you want to try and use the exact same amount of water in each little section that you can. Now you might not get it 100% exact. You just want to get about close. Now, again, this is food coloring, so if anybody starts to feel a little bothered, I'm going to go ahead and switch this out in a minute for a different color. I didn't have any blue right now. All I had was red. I apologize for that. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to there. Okay, now you're going to want to give this a stir, and you're going to want to start on the lighter one. Get darker, 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 and darker. Now, as you do this, you can see how this one's very bright and this one's very dark. This is how you want it to be, regardless of which color you're using. Now, if you're going directly with the ink, I will go ahead and show you in just a second how to set up the ink. Now, I'm going to go ahead and set this side up with this and this side up with the ink. But what you're going to do after you set yours up, oh, I just made a mess. It's okay, whatever. Mistakes happen. You don't want a lot of ink, just a few drops. Okay, just a little bit. You don't want to overflow. You don't want to fill up the little cups areas. You want to make sure that you leave yourself a little bit of room to add your ink. So you should not have it full. Just wanted to make sure I had water in that one. I couldn't even see. Let's put a little bit more since I can't tell that's in there. There, 1 more drop. Okay, so what you're going to do, I have a number 6, just like the ones that I provided at work or at school. So I'm going to go ahead and open this container. Now, with the food coloring, you added the drops to it. So what you're going to do for the ink is you're going to collect ink onto the brush. And notice I'm not putting the ink all the way to the top. I'm stopping just a little bit before. And you're going to start with your darkest color, swirl your brush, lift, swirl, lift, swirl, lift, swirl, lift, swirl. You're going to clean your brush. Do it again. Collect ink. Don't take it all the way to the top, and you're going to dip, swirl, dip, swirl, dip, swirl, dip, swirl, dip, swirl. At this point, you're going to clean your brush and go ahead and close your ink until you're ready to use it again. Now, I'm going to move this off to the side just a little bit so I can make sure that I can clean this up to make sure that there's no water left on my table. And I'm going to go ahead and pull over a piece of paper. You're going to want to start with your lightest colors. Now, what I want to go ahead and show you, when you're drawing and when you're using your paintbrush, when you hold it flat against the paper like so, and you go side to side, that's going to make a solid sheet of color. If you want to make a nice even line, you want to have the point on the paper. Just like that. Okay? Notice the change in the angle. Not flat. Not flat against the surface. You want to have the nice, neat points and gently brush the tip on the surface to make nice, even lines. So what I have here is 2 pieces of paper. I'm going to go ahead and move this one off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and create 2 very small, very quick segments so I can show you little gradations of each color. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the lightest color of the grayscale over here, and I'm going to go ahead and go side to side so you can really see how gray that tone is. Then I'm going to get the next darkest, go next to it. And notice how it's not too much darker just yet. I'm going to go ahead and collect some more, go back over it again. It's not drastically darker, but it is darker. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to collect a little bit more for your next one up. Next one up. And then the darkest. So this one had a drastic change. What you're going to want to do at that point, if you have something like this going on where it has very little tonal change, you're going to go ahead and dip into your darkest color, and then go ahead and go through all of your colors one more time. Dip into your darkest color, and then go all the colors again. So let's go ahead and give this another try. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush real quick. If I can find my paper towel. Where'd it go? I found it. Okay, so one more time, I'm going to go ahead, start with the lightest, next darkest, next darkest, next darkest, next darkest. Okay, so these 2 are now coming to the right tone. You want to keep doing this, going across, 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 until you are able. So starting over, clean the brush, start at the lighter, next over, next over, next over, and next over. This is what you want. You want to be able to see the difference between each and every one getting slightly darker as you go all the way across. This is how you want it to be. Going back again. And you can layer the colors on top of each other. So this is something I want to go ahead and show you. If I brush over the top of these again, once they're dry, you can see that you can still see the ones underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and show you on these right here. Getting the lightest one, I'm going to layer on top. And you can see that it darkened up this space. This is something that can be done with India ink because it dries so quickly. As long as you don't have this, as long as you haven't soaked your paper. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this side. Okay, this side has watercolors done with food coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the lighter tone. That's this one with the fewest drops. The next one over. Next one over. Next one over. So each one has just one extra drop more than the other one. So it's not capable of making quite the same drastic change, but it does make some change. Now, you can do, I said yesterday that you can use marker to be able to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works on the smaller side. Oh, I just made a big old mess. That's okay. Messes are fine. And this is actually something that you can actually use later. This is called blotting, but we'll deal with that at another time. So what you can do here is, let's say you want to do 3 different tones. I'm going to go ahead and color the inside with the Crayola marker. That one a little bit less, this one a little bit less, and then I'm going to go ahead and just add the water to those sections. So what happens here, if you add the water on top of the Crayola, it's going to make a very slight watercolor that you can actually use just like this. Is it perfect? No, but it does give you something that you can use. Now, when we get back, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a landscape using these tones.